Welcome to SpouseTales podcast. You really can't make this stuff up. Bringing you truth, solutions, and innovative ideas to some of the most controversial and overlooked questions inside the practice and out. Hello to our creator and co-host, JoAn Majors, CSP, published author, certified speaking professional, joined by her co-host, Kathy Signo.
Hello, I'm JoAn Majors.
And I'm Kathy Signo.
And we are back with SpouseTales.
Ever.
That's right. That's right. You can't make this stuff up, Kathy.
No, you sure cannot.
And I knew you would have a cute mask, so I decorated mine to say SpouseTales because we're back and in full force. Can we take them off now?
Yes, we can.
I'm really, I'm actually, I've been back in the practice just like you have. We're working to do a lot of stuff to get back on track. And I actually am working from home today. I'm not in my office because there's no AC. There's been no AC for a week. This is 2020 and we're in Texas and it's 90 something degrees. So I'm at home and the signal here is weak. So this is kind of how I felt the last, short time. So I think we're excited. This is the first time I put my SpouseTales shirt on in a while, and we didn't get to do Chicago Midwinter. We didn't get to do Hinman, so we're excited just to be back, right?
Yes, we are, and we're excited that our shirts still fit.
I know, that's what I was thinking with my COVID non-diet. I was really surprised that it fit. But anyway, I think that one of the things we want to do is this series, the Not So Secrets of a Spouse Tale. I think we want to kind of let's talk about one thing that has happened over this period of time that most people wouldn't really believe that you or I participated in or that has happened, right?
Right.
And how that affected us. And then let's also talk about, I'm going to turn off my little noises here because, that's what we're supposed to do. Anyway, and I also want to talk about a tip. Something that now that we're both back, we're not back 100%, but we're close, right?
Right.
We're trying to come back. Let's talk about something that has really made a difference for us. Either it can be a technology, a tip, or something like that. And I think it'll be really good. So what for you had an impact or was something that, you took place in or that you did or something that nobody would really believe? The things that we don't really talk about that's happened since we've been, on the COVID lockdown.
Well, I don't think people would believe that. I'm probably going to apply for a part-time job at a laundromat or a dry cleaners because I've been steaming lab coats nonstop. Our lab coats were supposed to come weeks before we came back to work on the 26th. And of course, everything was backlogged. So Friday, whatever day that was before Memorial Day, boxes and boxes of lab coats came because I not only ordered from one supplier, I ordered from another supplier because they said they weren't going to have them. And this guy said they weren't going to have them. So I have boxes and boxes of lab coats that I steamed probably Monday morning, 60 plus lab coats to get ready for the day. So every day we come in and that's the first order of the day is steam lab coats.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where, there are a lot of things that changed, right? And we have somebody, our yard is, you've seen our yard is relatively large. And so we have somebody that helps, that, does the yard some, and I have some help with my house. And that's all things that, because if you work full time, right, you can do that. If I wasn't working full time, I had the attitude that really I didn't need to spend money on those things. And I think the thing that surprises people, I was talking to another spouse yesterday who hopefully will be on with us. I was talking to Christine Taxon, and she and I were talking about, like, as speakers and trainers, what happens is, like, all our business dried up, right? Because no
Right.
doctors and teams were getting CE that wasn't free. So those of us who, that's how we've made a living for a long time, it really had an effect on us. And what I think a lot of people didn't realize is while our husbands weren't earning, honestly, we weren't either. And so it's always one of those, I think, misconceptions. So when when I would spend Saturday, several hours cleaning and doing that sort of thing, I remember thinking how much I appreciated the lady that helps me, right?
Absolutely.
And she's decided she's not coming back. She's going to retire because she's Hispanic. And she said, we get COVID faster than white people. And I said, okay. And she's sweet and she's trying to help me find somebody, but I'm not really ready. And then, our yard looks like, you could put a car back there and nobody would know it was there because we're behind on doing some things. But I mean, all in all, I think my we lost electricity, not like a blink, like we were going on 36 hours or something. I mean, it had been sizable. So there's a generator on the back porch. Then we had, the cords running through the window into the 2 refrigerator freezers inside, and then into the garage, into the deep freeze, because we were trying to keep from losing food, right? So you stocked up on all this food, not knowing how long it would take, and then you don't want to lose it. And so I think the thing that happened was I was so proud because it came back on one afternoon, and it was a Thursday, and by Thursday Chuck is beat from wearing, all the extra gear and the extra gear and the extra gear and the extra gear, that he's just tired. And so I thought in my infinite wisdom, I would pull both of the refrigerators in the house out, clean behind them, hook them back up, and all he had to do was the deep freeze. Did the first one, everything went great. Did the second one, and there's a little tube on there that it's like a water filter. It's like a fiberglass water filter that the water goes through into your ice machine. And it fell off the end of the broom because I was holding it, trying to push the refrigerator. It exploded, and within literally, it was fast. It was like 2 minutes, flooded the laundry room, half the kitchen. And when Chuck got home right at late that evening, the water's flowing out of the garage because it flooded the garage too. But good for me, we'd practiced it. We kept talking about, somebody said, how did your wife know what to do? He said, we practiced it. If this happens, you turn this and you do this and you go. And so I called him and I said, okay, I'm going out to the street. I've got the screwdriver. I've got the handle. What do I do? But it's like, I felt like this plumber. So you're going to go to work for a laundromat. I'm going to go to work for a plumber, but I'm not on my crack. I'm just saying, I'm not going to have plumber's crack, but I might have a plumbing job. I think it's the thing, we were talking to I was with Beverly Wilburn today. She was supposed to join us on one of these. And she said, emergency, can't do it. And it's like, that's the thing that I think that nobody really understands. We're kind of the fill in the gap. So we finally get to go back, and one of our assistants' husband became very ill. I mean, it was not something you would have expected her not to not go be with her husband, right? But I mean, who does it fall back on? When we need an extra set of hands, generally it's us, so it's interesting. So we took a sabbatical, for a little bit, and I think we're going to come back stronger, and I know we're going to come back with a better sense of humor.
Oh, I think that was my whole attitude during this whole thing was, how can I come back better than before? Because I'm not going to let this beat me down. And I had to be the cheerleader for the team. We did webinars or Zoom calls every Wednesday, and it was a happy hour. And we just, there were updates, but it was more to connect, just to stay in touch and make sure that everybody was doing okay, and that they knew we were thinking of them, and that we're still a team. So there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we do that people don't really realize, to make sure that even during this time when we're not generating an income, we're making sure that everything still is okay when we come back to work.
Yeah, I think that's been the big piece. And for me, yesterday we had one of our first team meetings that we have on Wednesdays, and we used to do those pop quizzes. And so I was talking to Ellen, our office manager. I said, okay, let's start the pop quizzes again, and let's do something really cool. So we did these 5 questions that everybody should know, and then there were 2 bonus questions, and then everybody I do this 5-star, write 5 stars on the $5 Starbucks card. So I say 5 stars, bucks, high five, and we did a little thing, and we went ahead and got the gifts for the next couple of weeks. And it's just morale. It's keeping everybody's morale up, because I know that the patients are so pleased. And we've got a lot of senior patients, and a lot of those patients are still calling saying, I'm concerned, and we honor that, right? We honor that, and we understand, but we're, at a lower capacity in Texas, and we have to be very careful, and we're not, our chairs are fabric. So we're not allowing really anybody to sit in those chairs. So we're really doing the curbside check-in, and, we're doing a lot of stuff through Weave, but I think that's been the big thing. So one thing, we're both going to give a tip on something that we've used or something we've done that made a big difference. So what is yours?
Well, you just mentioned it, Weave. That was a game changer for us. We were able to stay in contact with our patients the entire time. We were able to use the scripting that you had provided for Weave to stay in contact with our patients, 7 days before, 2 days before, 2 hours before. It's all set up automatically. Yeah. And what you brought to the table that I think is really important is that you gave us a little sentence to send to the patients after they've been in. Yeah. Just thanking them for supporting us.
that, and I'm going to pull this up on my phone because I think it's one of the coolest things. And it's not because it's me, it's because, but I mean, that's what I do for a living. So let's be honest. I mean, we do this because it's an opportunity for us to connect with people who are leaders in a practice. Right. We call it SpouseTales because, I had spouse behavior, right? Yeah. Ownership behavior before I was a spouse in the dental practice. Yes. So I think that's one of the things we really want to bring to a point, moving forward. But I think for me, that was probably one of the things that was helpful to me because I had, I've got several people that are in the platform that we did the 7 days out, 4 days out, the 2 days before and 2 hours before. And so we set up all those, and we may just riff on weave today because it has been one of the things that's helped. It's how we stayed in contact and that sort of thing. And so this message was, thank you for helping our small business move forward in uncertain times. I think when you think about the 3 C's that we talk about, okay, so let's acknowledge technology because we love technology, right? It's like, you think about stuff that happens in a dental office and you think it doesn't happen. And it's like, this has been the craziest thing, right? So when you think about it, I don't want to go to the office because when I go to the office, I get bombarded, right? So I stayed here to do this today. Would rather be at my little office, but the no air conditioner, which we had no power at our home. It's like, this is 2020. What is happening, right? It's like, but you can't make this stuff up.
Well, and these Zoom calls, these Zoom meetings there's so many of them going on.
Right.
That, everybody's having issues like this. So I am at the office today. My door is locked. Everyone knows what I'm doing in here and they know, don't come in and bother me. Yeah. My phone shut off. So,
Chances are your technology won't drop there though, because I don't ever have a problem at the office, but
we don't have problems here
because we're in the boonies. But anyway, so let's go back to, we were going to talk a little bit about a couple things that we did that we really liked, how we used weave. So you were talking about that, and then I was going to read this and then kind of share about that. So the message that we're talking about specifically was, I'd gone to the little boutique that I do business with where I get my makeup. And in there, they bring it out, put it in a basket, then they go back inside. And there was a little note in there that thanked me for doing business with them. And I started thinking that would be a really cool follow-up, right? And so it says, thank you for helping our small business move forward in uncertain times. It doesn't say that we're in trouble. It doesn't say anything. It says thank you. And it is uncertain times. You'd have to be living under a rock not to know that we're in uncertain times. And it says, we appreciate you coming in for your visit yesterday. Your visit matters to us, Dr. Chuck and team. I think that it's been one of my favorite things that we've used. And what was interesting is, I've got a group that, the doctors that are in the platform that use that content, we have a lot of this available to them. And I think that that's probably been one of my favorites. And this doctor sent me a message yesterday because he's using it. And the guy wrote back, or a patient wrote back, and it said, Brian, thank you so much for the care that your team is doing to set up proper procedures for safety, not only for your team, but also for the patients. I was very impressed. And that's the thing about when you use technology with personal messages, yes, it can empower what you're doing. It doesn't take the place of it by any stretch of the imagination. We've been talking about, less touch, more connection. We can't hug them, so let's hug them through our words. But I think it's intentional, and I think using, like you said, the messages and the way that we do the messaging is what matters.
Oh, it does. And, I remember you said a smiling set of eyes will meet you at the door. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's brilliant because they can't see our smile. And that's what we do. But we're letting them know ahead of time, hey, we're smiling behind our mask.
Don't be surprised.
Yeah, don't be surprised.
I think that's been the most fun. And that's one of the things that you and I committed to when we decided to come back and do SpouseTales is, we laugh and yes, we talk about a lot of things that are personal to us as spouses, but I'm going to go back to the spouse doesn't necessarily mean the person married to the dentist. No. Because, Kelly is his day wife. I mean, your husband's day wife, right? I mean, she takes care of him. Ellen and Mika, there's a couple of people at our office that they are rock solid. I say, if they leave, I'm leaving. Yeah. Because that's how much that they're dependent on. And so one of our commitments is to talk more about the content and the stuff that we really do.
Right.
I think that this was, we met and became friends because we had that in common. But our commitment to what we do for our practice is where really we can have the greatest impact.
Yes. You know, and I was, when we had that break in technology, I was talking a little bit about one of the things that I think made our comeback so successful was we had a practice day. Everybody came in and we role played about what is it going to look like when we, you know, send the text message, or the patient sends the text message to us. We go out, we take temperatures. What is that whole process? What is it going to look like to don all these garments and take them off and, you know, do all that? So I think that there's things, you know, we've always talked about training. Even in the midst of all of this, we brought everybody back to train so that that first day back, we didn't all look at each other like deer in the headlights and say, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, I think that you and I talk a lot about that. We really believe in role play. We really believe in the power of practice, you know, and to listen to my thoughts and not my words. It's like, you've got to find your own words. What was really exciting for us is we have a new team member in our front office, and she came from the Louisiana area, and due to COVID and everything, she didn't come back when we first went back, but she showed up last week, and she had already been in, you know, the training videos and is really going fun. But she said to me, which was really interesting, she said, I love the way that you have these in short snippets to learn it. But she said, what I really love is, she said, I know, and she's really good in dentistry. I told her Tuesday, I told her, she's only been there a week. And Tuesday I said, I don't think I've met anybody your age that's this confident in their position, because this girl's got so much confidence. And, you know, when you have a lot of the mentors and people that we've learned from, the first time you're around them, you're kind of like, wow. And so she'd been watching all these videos of us and all this training, and she walked in and had no resistance to anything, because she understands why we believe in this. You know, she watched enough of the videos to know the why behind it. And it's not just, this is how we say it. It's, this is why we do this, to better connect with our patients. So it's been amazing. But I was listening to her. She said, I hear you talk to patients and it just rolls off your tongue. She said, I can't wait until it's that natural for me. And I listen to you now and I think, okay, how long have we been doing this? Because it does it for me. Listening to you, it's like listening to Ashley or Amanda or somebody who's worked with me, and it just rolls off your tongue. It's great.
Right.
It's great.
Well, and what you said is confidence.
Yeah.
That's one thing that when someone walks in with confidence, we talked about that when you had your 3 C's and what we needed to do. And that was one of them, is that we needed to be confident, consistent, and clear in our messaging. Yeah. And if you've got that, you've won the game right there.
Yeah, it really is. Well, you know, our commitment is that we won't clog up their mailbox and we won't stay too long, because we too have a life. And so we're gonna go ahead and break, just like our video did earlier. And I want to send a shout out to Weave, because they've been big supporters of ours. And if you're watching this and you're interested in the Weave scripts that we're talking about, if you'll send me an email to JoAn@JoAnMajors.com. Remember, JoAn has one N. And in the subject line, just put Weave scripts, because if you're a Weave user, you know, you may enjoy some of these. I know that we've shared them with, you know, some of the ADOM groups and SmileSource and some other groups, because it really, for me, it's like we have a lot of technology. But if we don't know how to take the technology and put the soft skills around it so that they're effective, it really is just another thing for us to have to learn. And our team really wants something to make their life easier. They don't want us to give them another task.
No, and I guarantee you, it will make your life easier. It will make your patient's life easier.
Yeah.
Send JoAn an email. You'll love the scripts.
Yeah, and stay tuned, because we have a lot of fun things coming up this summer, and we're really glad you're here. We're really glad you're here.
We are. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of SpouseTales. We ask you to consider our podcast sponsors when you need solutions, and we look forward to seeing you on the road. Signing off live from Aggieland, this is Mel on Air.